Swaran Singh. Professor Singh teaches at the Jawaharlal Nehru University in New Delhi. Professor Singh, welcome. If I may start by asking you, Professor, how would you characterize the current state of play in India-US ties?
First thing, Ramesh, that I would like to underline is the fact that there is no sector today in which India and US are not building or have already built partnership. Of course, advanced and critical technologies, defense cooperation, people-to-people relation are coming together in Indo-Pacific are areas that are often highlighted. But it's an overarching relationship where India and United States are working on almost all sectors. Second important thing to underline here is that in India-US relationship, other than the summit meetings, this 2+2 represents the highest level stock taking and providing strategic direction between two nations. So this is the highest level meeting other than summit meeting. And it is institutionalized, as you mentioned. It is the fifth session that we are having now in New Delhi. So I think in that sense, they are not just going to discuss bilateral areas where they want to build and carry forward their partnership, and strengthen it, but also issues that are topical to the time. And of course, as you understand, President Joe Biden is meeting Chinese President Xi Jinping next week. So what would be the kind of likely strategy that the United States will adopt in their, overall understanding of putting certain kind of restraint on China's behavior, particularly in Asia Pacific, Indo-Pacific? I'm sure these are issues that are going to be important in their mutual sharing of notes. And of course, they have also an important issue of Israel-Hamas war that is going on. United States foreign policy and defense policy seems to be very, very much focused on that issue right now. And you remember, Ramesh, India is part of the second Quad that Joe Biden had launched, including Israel, India, UAE, and the United States. So in that sense, United States now, the way they engage West Asia or Middle East, they see India as a very important partner. And then same way, of course, Israel sees India as a very important partner now. So I'm sure what India's approach would be on how India would like to see a solution to the ongoing violence in that region would be another area for discussion between countries.
Professor Singh, now that you have given our viewers an overview of the India-US ties, let me dwell on the specifics of the relationship, if you will, in four different baskets, including the Indo-Pacific, the Quad, the Initiative on Critical and Emerging Technology, or ICET, and other regional issues. Let me start with the Indo-Pacific, Professor. The Indo-Pacific has acquired a salience of its own for India and the US alike. Is there scope for a more robust India-US partnership in that part of the world? I ask you this because just a few days ago, a US agency called the International Development Finance Corporation committed more than $500 million to support the development of a deep water shipping container terminal in the port of Colombo in Sri Lanka.
I think that clearly is something that indicates that there is an increasing understanding and trust and mutual kind of sharing of notes between the United States and India when the challenges come to, for example, countries like Sri Lanka, which had been inordinately kind of come under influence of China and its investments and its construction of ports and airports and other infrastructure. And then, of course, because of enormous debt crisis, it had got into a political problem as well. So I think in that sense, in terms of specifics, this investments commitment of United States and Sri Lanka is a very good sign that India and United States are kind of working together in redeeming Sri Lankan, not just economy, but politics as well. But larger Indo-Pacific areas, I think, would also include the carrying forward of Indo-Pacific Economic Framework Initiative that was launched, and India is part and parcel of that compared to some of the other regional economic cooperation partnerships where India is not there. So that is another area where India and United States would like to move forward. And of course, the lingering issue of China's expanding influence in the region and how to counter that and will be again an issue which would be discussed. In fact, the next week meeting of Joe Biden and President Xi Jinping would have that as an important area of discussion other than United States concerns about nuclear weapons in the United States, commitments to climate change and so on. So India, in that sense, particularly you see after the G20 summit meeting that saw India and United States working together in building consensus in a whole range of areas, which was the last visit of US President to India.
Right.
And of course, like the online summit meeting of G20 again before end of this month, we'll see all these leaders coming together. So Indo-Pacific, in fact, adds on another very significant element
Right.
that brings the United States together, other than several other bilateral and historical partnerships that these two countries have had.
Indeed.
I think that regional geopolitics bring these two really closer together, and 2+2 is a reflection of that how they want to
Absolutely.
really ensure and institutionalize their partnership at the apex level.
Indeed. Professor Singh, I'm afraid that's all we have time for. I would have loved to continue this conversation, but I will have to stop here. May I thank you for joining us and sharing your thoughts with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time.